So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
This wasn't just another lawsuit or routine accusation, it was something far more serious. For the first time, the man who built his empire on power and confidence looked truly shaken, even afraid. Sean Diddy Combs, once the untouchable titan of hip-hop, now stands at the center of a legal maelstrom that threatens to unravel his legacy. As of June 5, 2025, Combs is on trial in New York City, facing federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. These charges, filed following his arrest in September 2024, paint a chilling picture of a man accused of orchestrating a decades-long criminal enterprise masked by his music empire. Detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, Combs has pleaded not guilty, but the weight of the allegations, backed by damning testimony and evidence, has cast a shadow over his once glamorous persona. The case has gripped the public, with each revelation exposing a darker side of Hollywood's glittering facade. Amid the chaos of his legal battle, a fleeting moment underscored Combs' vulnerability. On January 30, 2025, he was transported from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn to a hospital for an MRI, a procedure described by sources as routine but shrouded in speculation due to his high-profile status. Accompanied by federal authorities, Combs underwent the scan and was returned to custody the same night. The brief hospital visit, reported by outlets like Page 6, sparked questions about his health under the strain of incarceration and the mounting pressure of the trial. Was this a sign of physical decline or merely a procedural necessity? The incident, though minor, added another layer of intrigue to a case already brimming with drama, reminding the public that even moguls are mortal when facing the law's unrelenting grip. The trial, now in its fourth week as of June 5, 2025, is a legal spectacle unfolding in a New York City courtroom. Expected to span approximately 8 weeks, it could conclude by early July, but each session delivers new shocks that keep the world watching. The prosecution has presented a barrage of evidence and witnesses, while Combs' defense team fights to dismantle their narrative. The courtroom has become a battleground where Combs' legacy, built on chart-topping hits and cultural influence, is pitted against accusations of predation and abuse. Media outlets like NBC News and Court TV provide near-daily updates, capturing every twist, from heated objections to emotional testimonies. The trial's outcome could redefine Combs' place in history, and its high stakes have made it a focal point for discussions about power and accountability in the entertainment industry. At the heart of the case lies a chilling accusation. Combs allegedly ran a sprawling criminal enterprise through his business empire, dubbed the Combs Enterprise by prosecutors. The charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution, allege a pattern of calculated crimes spanning decades. Prosecutors claim Combs and his associates engaged in sex trafficking, kidnapping, arson, robbery, and obstruction of justice, using his wealth and influence to silence victims and evade accountability. The racketeering charge hinges on proving a consistent pattern of illegal activity, with prosecutors weaving together testimonies and evidence to portray Combs as a ruthless orchestrator who exploited his power to manipulate and harm. This isn't just a trial, it's an indictment of a system that allegedly allowed such behavior to thrive unchecked. Cassandra "Cassie" Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend and a pivotal figure in the case, delivered 4 days of gut-wrenching testimony that laid bare the alleged horrors of their relationship. Ventura described a decade-long ordeal marked by physical abuse, emotional manipulation, and coercion into participating in freak-offs, drug-fueled sex parties allegedly orchestrated by Combs. She recounted being forced to engage in sexual acts with others while Combs watched, often under the influence of drugs he provided. Her testimony, reported by sources like the New York Times, painted a picture of a controlling figure who used his dominance to trap her in a cycle of fear and compliance. Ventura's courage in testifying has become a cornerstone of the prosecution's case, humanizing the allegations and exposing the personal toll of Combs' alleged actions. The prosecution's case gained a devastating weapon with the admission of a 2016 hotel surveillance video showing Combs violently assaulting Ventura. Despite fierce objections from Combs' legal team, who argued the video was prejudicial, Judge Arun Subramanian allowed it, citing its relevance to the pattern of abuse. The footage, which corroborates Ventura's claims, shows Combs attacking her in a hotel hallway, a moment that has shocked viewers and bolstered the prosecution's narrative. Additional evidence includes text messages, witness accounts, and alleged recordings of freak-offs, which prosecutors claim reveal the extent of Combs' control over victims. The defense's request for copies of these videos was denied, though they were granted access to view them, sparking debates about trial fairness. Beyond Ventura, a parade of witnesses has fortified the prosecution's case. Capricorn Clark, a former employee, testified about a 2011 incident where Combs allegedly broke into rapper Kid Cudi's home armed with a gun, motivated by jealousy over Cudi's relationship with Ventura. A hotel security guard also took the stand, confirming he witnessed the 2016 assault on Ventura captured on video. These accounts, reported by outlets like Court TV, paint Combs as a volatile figure prone to violence and retribution. Each witness adds a piece to the puzzle, illustrating a pattern of behavior that prosecutors argue spans years and involves multiple victims, from industry insiders to aspiring artists. Rapper Kid Cudi's testimony was a bombshell, offering a first-hand account of Combs' alleged aggression. Cudi described a 2011 incident where Combs, enraged over Cudi's brief relationship with Ventura, broke into his home with a gun. Cudi also testified about a subsequent car firebombing, which he believes was orchestrated by Combs as retaliation. These events, detailed in reports from NBC News, support the prosecution's claim of a pattern of violent and coercive behavior. Cudi's willingness to testify despite his own prominence in the industry underscores the gravity of the allegations and the courage required to confront a figure as powerful as Combs. The term freak-offs has become synonymous with the darkest allegations against Combs. Prosecutors describe these as meticulously planned, drug-fueled sex parties where Combs allegedly coerced participants, often young women and men, into sexual acts under duress. According to testimony from former employee Phil Pines, who worked for Combs from 2019 to 2021, these events involved a laundry list of supplies like alcohol, marijuana, ketamine, and Molly. Pines claimed Combs instructed him to procure these items and even requested drugs like Cialis and Xanax, as revealed in audio shared with Investigation Discovery's docuseries The Fall of Diddy. Prosecutors allege these parties exploited vulnerable individuals, often under the guise of career opportunities, revealing a predatory undercurrent to Combs' empire. Combs' defense, led by attorneys Tenny Geragos and Mark Agnifilo, is fighting an uphill battle to preserve his freedom. They argue that the freak-offs were consensual, private encounters among adults, not the criminal acts described by prosecutors. The defense acknowledges instances of domestic violence, particularly with Ventura, but insists these do not constitute racketeering or sex trafficking. They've challenged the prosecution's evidence, seeking access to electronic copies of videos to better prepare their case, though Judge Subramanian denied this request without prejudice. The defense paints Combs as a flawed but not criminal figure, urging the court to separate his personal failings from the grandiose narrative of a criminal enterprise. A separate civil lawsuit has added fuel to the fire, implicating another music icon, Sean Jay-Z Carter. Filed by an unnamed Jane Doe, the suit alleges that she was raped by Combs and Jay-Z at an after-party following the 2000 Video Music Awards in New York City. At the time, she was just 13 years old, having been lured to the event by a limousine driver promising access to an exclusive gathering. She claims she was given a drugged drink, leading to her assault. The lawsuit, initially filed by attorney Tony Busby, named Jay-Z as the second celebrity in an amended complaint, sending shockwaves through the industry. Jay-Z has vehemently denied the allegations, calling the lawsuit a publicity stunt orchestrated by Busby. In court filings, he accused Busby of filing claims with substantial inaccuracies and failing to properly investigate before naming him. Jay-Z's legal team has pushed for sanctions against Busby, arguing that the attorney's actions were reckless and damaging. The lawsuit was recently dropped by Busby's team, a move that raised eyebrows but did little to quell the public's fascination with the case. Jay-Z's forceful response underscores the high stakes for those entangled in Combs' legal fallout, as reported by outlets like Reuters. Justin Bieber, though not formally accused in Combs' criminal case, has been drawn into the narrative through his early association with the mogul. As a teenage pop sensation, Bieber spent significant time with Combs, raising questions about the nature of their relationship. Fans and online commentators have scrutinized this connection, especially in light of Combs' current charges. While no evidence directly implicates Bieber as a victim or participant in wrongdoing, the resurfaced footage from his youth has sparked widespread concern about the environment he navigated as a young star. The most troubling evidence of Bieber's tie to Combs comes from a 2009 video that resurfaced after Combs' arrest. In it, Combs boasts about spending 48 hours with a 15-year-old Bieber, calling it a 15-year-old's dream, and jokingly claiming custody of him. He references his past guardianship of Usher, adding an eerie layer given allegations against Combs involving Usher's early career. The clip, widely shared on platforms like TikTok and reported by outlets like E! News, shows Bieber appearing thrilled but uncomfortably young next to the grinning mogul. The video's cryptic tone has fueled speculation about what transpired during their time together. The resurfaced footage has ignited a firestorm of public reaction, with fans and social media users questioning how a minor like Bieber was allowed to spend unsupervised time with Combs, a figure now accused of predatory behavior. Comments on X and TikTok, as seen in posts from accounts like ED Magazine, express unease about Hollywood's apparent negligence, with many asking, where were his parents? The clips have taken on a sinister hue in light of Combs' charges, prompting discussions about the vulnerability of young stars and the industry's failure to protect them. The public's outrage reflects a broader reckoning with Hollywood's power dynamics. Bieber, now 31 and a new father, appears to be distancing himself from the figures who shaped his early career. On January 4, 2025, fans noticed that Bieber and his longtime manager Scooter Braun unfollowed each other on social media, with Bieber blocking Braun and removing tags from shared photos. Braun, who signed Bieber at 13 alongside Usher, was a key link to Combs. Similarly, Bieber has unfollowed Usher, his original mentor, signaling a deliberate purge of past associations. These moves, reported by outlets like ET, suggest Bieber is seeking to redefine his path amid the scandal's fallout. In a 2020 Apple Music interview with Zane Lowe, Bieber became visibly emotional while discussing his desire to protect young artists like Billie Eilish from the industry's darker side. "It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn," he said, hinting at betrayals and challenges he faced. The clip, widely circulated after Combs' arrest, struck a chord with fans who saw it as a veiled reference to his own experiences. Bieber's plea to shield Eilish from unspecified dangers has taken on new weight, raising questions about what he endured under the influence of figures like Combs. Another lawsuit has added to Combs' legal woes. An unnamed male aspiring rapper, referred to as John Doe, filed a suit in New York alleging that in 2015, Combs drugged and assaulted him at an after-party. The plaintiff, then 23, claims he was promised a record deal with Bad Boy Records after performing at a Los Angeles nightclub. At the after-party, he alleges he was given a drugged drink, rendering him unconscious, during which Combs engaged in non-consensual sexual acts. The lawsuit, covered by media like TMZ, underscores the breadth of allegations against Combs, spanning both genders and multiple years. Combs' legal team has dismissed the 2015 lawsuit as a publicity stunt, stating, "Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new claim, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous." They argue that the flurry of civil suits is an attempt to capitalize on Combs' legal troubles rather than present credible evidence. This stance, reported by outlets like Billboard, reflects the defense's strategy to cast doubt on the credibility of accusers while focusing on the criminal trial's core charges. The team's defiance contrasts with the mounting pressure from multiple legal fronts. The trial is more than a legal battle. It's a reckoning for an industry long shielded by glamour and influence. Combs' case threatens to dismantle his empire and expose systemic abuses within Hollywood, where power dynamics have allegedly enabled predation for decades. For Justin Bieber, Bieber, it's a pivotal moment to break free from the shadows of his past, potentially speaking out against the darkness he may have witnessed or endured. As the trial unfolds, it promises to unearth long-buried secrets, forcing a confrontation with the ruthless realities of fame, betrayal, and survival. The world watches as the fall of a mogul could herald the fall of a corrupted system, with sources like NBC News, The New York Times, and Investigation Discovery documenting every seismic shift.